Well, today is August 8th, 2017, and today is the day that Fritz the Volkswagen is going to move to a new home. I believe I bought Fritz down in Maryland, and now Felix is coming up from Virginia to buy it. I've had Fritz for about, I want to say 10 years. I'll know in a couple minutes when I see the title. But I got it around the time, or a year or two after the boys were born, sort of as a hobby project. My plan, and what I did do, is I made it into a grease car. A diesel. I wanted to find a little diesel that would run on vegetable oil. Nicole had showed me an article on that, and I was very taken by it. So I took that on. So I'm going to turn the camera around a bit. I'm going to take Fritz for one last spin around Milltown here. So here we go. Here's the service manual. I put this to good use. What is with the car stays with the car, is what I say. So I have another box of spare parts that I'll throw in. So here it is. It started right up today, and I hadn't started it for at least a month or two. So you can hear it tapping away. Here's what a diesel sounds like. Here's the Greasecar accessories. There's the second fuel filter. And there's a switch here that switches between diesel and grease. And then there's a purge mode that you have to run. I have the cover off the belt. That thing was never held on very well. It always made noise. So the diesel injectors, the diesel pump. This thing cracked, the original car cracked and fell off long ago. The 79 had a 1.5 liter engine, and I replaced the whole engine actually with a 1.6. The 1.5 was really hard to get parts for. I also put a 5-speed transmission into it, which was hard to get. I replaced the shifter link. There was a new mounting bracket I had to get with the transmission too. Oh dear, one of the CD joints seems to have popped off. Bummer on that. That's a recent development. I'll have to point that out to the new one. I'll try to pop that back on. What other things? I redid the brakes recently. I upgraded the radio. What is going on with this thing? Oh, I zoomed it in. So missing links. The food is popped off. That's a new development. What else do we got here? Well, the Blaupunk radio was an upgrade. This whole center console I dropped in as part of the Greasecar conversion. Redid the brakes. Big Greasecar sticker on the back. I painted this thing black. I thought that looked cool because it was a diesel. The obligatory B for Deutschland sticker and a Volkswagen. So, a little spot of rust. And I guess that's about it. I mean, not bad for a almost 40-year-old car, I guess. So I'll put the hood down here and we'll take it for a drive. And we'll just set this here. Seatbelt here. Take old Fritz for a drive. So nothing drives quite like a Rabbit. position of the shifter itself, the suspension. The suspension on this car is pretty decent. You can see that on the steering wheel here. Radios, like I said, I replaced it. Mostly I listen to AM radio.
Only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you
That's
can
what I
try
need to listen to. And the shifter shifts real nice. There are no idiot lights on. The oil pressure, I mean, the engine was replaced. The oil pressure is good. The water pressure is always good. Lights all work. I like driving the VW. It reminds me, I mean, I had a bunch of these over the years. My first Rabbit was a 77 fuel-injected Rabbit. I drove that when I commuted back and forth to Westchester University. Ooh, what the hell was that? I don't know. And I sold that. I got a Fiat convertible, which certainly was a pretty car, but not the most dependable thing in the world. So I learned a lot about working on foreign. I didn't have to work on the VW much. The Fiat took a lot of attention. I had to take a second job in college to help pay for all the repairs I needed on it, the carburetor and everything else. When I got tired of that, I sold it and I went back to a 78 fuel-injected Rabbit, which was also a great car, ran great. Did a neat road trip to Niagara Falls with Mark and friends, but unfortunately that thing rusted in half. I went to get it aligned one day, and the guy's like, hey, we can't align it because it's all rusted out. So that kind of sucked. So ended up just ditching that car, and I think at that point I had enough money saved up. It might have been after college. I got myself a 78 Scirocco, and I drove that for a number of years until I got into Datsuns, and that was kind of the end of Volkswagens for me. But until this one anyway. So here, I'll turn this around one more time and finish up my little drive with Fritz here. And it's you know, what are you gonna do? I just don't have the time to maintain 3 old cars anymore properly, and Fritz is suffering a little bit from neglect. You know, I just don't have the bandwidth to take care of this and the Z-Car and the Roadster. And I think the fellow I'm selling this to, he wants to restore it, and I hope he'll stay in touch with me and occasionally give me pictures and updates as to how the restoration is going, and hope he'll be happy with it and be able to fix it nicely. And you know, just see how the project comes along. So I'll wish him well with it. I sure wish I knew where that other Blaupunkt button was, but that thing fell off. The base of the knob cracked, and I had this plan that I was gonna epoxy it and put it back on, and then I misplaced it, and it's almost impossible to turn the tuner without something on it. So I discovered that a beer cap worked fine with a hole punched in it. So anyway, put that back into first gear, zing around here, and then we'll park it, wait for I think the fellow's name is Brandon Wright, or Brigham Wright. Well, I'll find out who he is when he shows up. So anyway, to speed or up to temperature, it starts reading 100 degrees, and that's when you can switch it over to grease. So we'll just park it here. I don't have to. This is the switch to switch it between grease and regular fuel. That's when you're running it in regular fuel, and if you leave it in regular fuel, it beeps at you. So you have to purge it, and then that's how you run it in diesel. So that's purge, that's run, and that's off. So handbrake, and what else do I need to do here? Oh well, I'll show the grease tank here. That's kind of a neat thing. Put this open, and I've got some oil for him. Some clean diesel. I should probably put that in. So there's the access to the tank. So here's if you want to huff the car start on a cold day, you can kind of put that in the air intake. So that's what the grease tank looks like, and that just sits in the spare tire well there, and that is kind of that. So, geez, I haven't popped that open in a long time either. So, all right. Well, that's my last run around the neighborhood in the Greasecar. So let's do one more walk around here, and we'll when the new owner gets here, we'll take a picture of him with it too, and then wish him well. Yeah, Rusty Jones. It's probably one of the reasons the car is still intact. It has a little tow hitch on it. I remember once I used the tow hitch to tow a log splitter around. I think I took that over to 48 Walker Road, Nicole's parents. Yeah, round headlights, has the VW logo. Nobody ripped that off and did a Flava Flav with it. It's got the little beak on the front. That was a nice addition I put on it for the front fascia there, And when I got the car, it didn't have this little side plug either. That was a hard part to source. So, all right. Well, that is it for now. So I hope you liked my tour of the 79. It's a 79 VW Rabbit Diesel C edition, and that's it for now. Bye.